Alright guys, got a midweek update on Krusty. We did get the rear end pulled out of them, but now we're moving on to finish the electrical. We have the starter generator out, and I figured I'd just show you guys what kind of steps you should do. I have not opened it yet, but this is what I normally do with them. We have the tools needed. You'll need sandpaper like 180. This is just for if something's really corroded up. Scotch-Brite is the last step that I normally do. It's like kind of polishing it. And then you need a 7/16 socket, wrench, anything, whatever gets these bolts out. There's a bolt that goes from one end the whole way to the other end. And you can't mess this up. It has a pin that centers the caps on the end of it, so you can't do it incorrectly. This is a noise alert. It's going to be loud. This is just to make it easier on me instead of trying to use a socket wrench. Plus, sometimes they are rusted in there pretty good, so you need something to rattle them out. Well, they came out pretty easy. And this is the one off of Krusty, so don't tell me that's a different size bolt. Alright, it came out. Now pull the bolts the whole way out. Just set them aside. This is coming apart way easier than it should. So you have your little bearing on the end of it. Some of them actually have a regular bearing at the end of it, but this one has a bushing. And this one appears to be into it already. Look at how nice that is, bub. I can't even believe this. Well, this is a good sign. Before we take it apart, these are the brushes. This is what does the starting action right here. The power goes through there into the brush and it makes it to where it spins, which is what I'm having an issue with now. It's sometimes wanting to spin, sometimes it doesn't. You can take the pulley off, but I normally just slide it out like this. The brushes will pop out, so don't get worried about that. I think this has been rebuilt. I don't know, that looks really nice. Now, I've taken it apart before where they sat. There would be really bad corrosion and rust buildup on these. But this one actually looks like it's been rebuilt because everything's super clean on the inside. This is like the best example that you'll probably come across. I can't believe it was on Krusty. Yeah, even the charging coils in there are perfect. I don't know if you can see that. Now the issue that I'm thinking I'm having is that this is dirty, and it might still be the starter solenoid, but I could have sworn that this is what was acting up because when I checked it, it was getting power, but it wasn't turning it over. So this doesn't need any coarse sanding, just the Scotch-Brite. And the reason I use Scotch-Brite is so you don't put any grit into the electrical system or any of this stuff, so you don't burn it up. But that already looks better just from cleaning it with Scotch-Brite. Yeah, it looks a lot better now. Well, this is going to be the shortest how-to video ever. The thing you can do is put a little bit of grease on this one, which I will do after this video. You can see all this is really nice, like it's been replaced. The threads on that are brand new, like there isn't any rust buildup on that. Now a lot of times what happens is these guys will be covered in a bunch of crud. You gotta just scrub them out with the Scotch-Brite, get the stuff off of them, and then clean this part, which we might as well do a quickie clean on it. Craptastic, most crappy one I have has the nicest starter generator in it. I don't know how that's possible. You just walk it around and clean it. Try to get that's all the crud that came off right there. Now what I was telling you guys is you can't put it on incorrectly. There's a dowel pin right there. You got that, bub? The case on the one end will line up with that, but you can't put this in backwards either, at least to my knowledge. So I normally just start sliding it in, and once you get close to the end, which that's something else I wanted to show. We gotta pull this back out. The brushes get super shiny. When you get them normally, they're not shiny, so I usually just rip off a piece of sandpaper. Hopefully this isn't a bad thing to do. This is what I normally always do. Just cup the sandpaper grab your brush gingerly. You don't want to be real rough with it because the electrical connection is not the best. And just lightly scrub it to get the shine off of it. That's what I normally do. And it seems, once you do that to any of them, it seems like it'll start a lot faster and better. Which is what I did to Kaylin's tractor, and it seems to have helped it. That's a really weird angle. Let me set it up. Just enough to get the shiny off of it. And when you go to put these back in, they are spring loaded. You just have to get it in that channel and push it back. This is where it gets kind of fun. You can do it with one person. You just get it set up, and then you push those guys in and get them over top of it, and that's done. Now this might not be setting on there, but you just rotate it until it clicks into that pin I was talking about. And then this is another fun part. As you can see, here's the, oh, you can't put it in backwards. There's the pin that'll locate it for you into that groove right there. So you just take this guy. Everything's so nice. I actually don't think I'm going to grease that. We'll just let the brass bushing do its job. Make a lot of noise. You got to do that part. And you normally, sometimes you have trouble lining these bolts up, but that one just went back together slicker than shit. And then that guy. Now this little 3/8, I'm pretty used to using it, so I'm not going to overdo it. And that's it. The other thing is you can sand these little contacts where the nuts tighten up. Make sure this is as clean as you possibly can be. And these nuts are kind of special. I don't know why. I thought it was a 1/4x20 thread, but it must be something different because you try putting a newer 1/4x20 nut on there, it doesn't go on. So I always keep these nuts, don't throw them away, just clean them up, put them back on. Because no new nut ever seems to go on the threads as nice as the original one did. But other than that, that was about as easy as it gets. You might come into complications sometimes where this gets rusty and you have to tap it off and beat it off. And then you always want to just turn it by hand, and if anything feels out of place, tear it back apart and look at it. But this one spins really nice, so it's going to go back on, and we will be checking to see if it charges and come back and see what the conclusion is to this, probably on the weekend. So hope you guys learned something. Talk to you guys later.